Hey guys, did you know Thresh was the first champion released in 2013, and once he reaches level 18, his base HP is also 2013? No? Probably because it doesn't exist anymore. If you try it now, he has way more HP than he used to. Which might be a little weird wanting such a big nerf for him, but I do wish they'd reverted to how it used to be. Thresh also used to start the game off with a free soul whenever he played against a Lucian. This was a reference to Thresh having Lucian's wife's soul trapped in his lantern. This was long before Senna was added to the game, and it was only removed shortly before she was going to be added, so it was actually hinting towards her release. So that means Thresh has had 2 Easter eggs removed from him over the years. One was because of game balance, and one was because of lore. And surprisingly enough, he's not the only champion with multiple Easter eggs that were removed. So along with Thresh's, here are some other Easter eggs that have actually been removed over the years. So similar to Kha'Zix and Rengar's event where they had to fight, Ashe, Lissandra, and Sejuani also had an in-game event where they had to fight it out. If Ashe, Lissandra, or Sejuani were on opposite teams, they would have to fight in an in-game event that would randomly trigger. If 2 of them were on the same team, then only one of them would be chosen at random to participate in the event. When the event triggered, the first to kill the other Freljordian lady would be awarded with an in-game cosmetic crown for the rest of the match. It didn't impact gameplay other than just adding a few style points, but it was pretty cool having your entire team protect the ADC for an in-game crown, because nowadays they really don't protect the ADC for even a ranked win. Crazy enough, that's not the only Easter egg that's been removed that involves Lissandra. There used to be an in-game voice line that would trigger whenever you played Lissandra on Howling Abyss. All you had to do was play a full game of ARAM and wait about 30 seconds, and she would go on a very long speech just talking about her lore. If I remember correctly, this was removed around the time they were updating a lot of the lore in game, and it was removed because it was no longer canon, and I guess Riot just didn't care enough to replace it with a new one. It's actually really cool, so if you decide to look up Lissandra ARAM Easter egg, I'm sure you can find it, and it's only 2 minutes long if you feel like listening to it. Everyone's seen that famous Faker versus Ryu 1v1 on Zed, but did you know there's actually an Easter egg you can see in that clip that has since been removed from the game? Ninja and Inverse Ninja Strength were a buff and debuff given to the Ninja champions. Akali, Kennen, Shen, and Zed were all considered ninjas and got the ninja buff whenever you played them in game. If you hovered the buff, all it would do is say, "This unit is a flippin' ninja." But if you had more than one ninja on a team, that's when you would get the Inverse Ninja Strength debuff, which removed 1 HP for every ninja on your team. And that's the debuff you would see in the most iconic play of all time. The icons for both the ninja and Inverse Ninja Strength icon were the exact same, so the only way that we know it was the debuff is because we can see Shen and Zed on the same team. And Shen and Zed were surprisingly on both teams, because I guess LCK just allowed mirror matchups back then, which is kind of funny because I don't think a lot of people really talk about that when they see that clip. So despite this Easter egg being very visible and featured in this career-defining play, I guess it was still removed. And similar to the ninja buff, Gangplank and Misfortune had a very similar passive. Whenever you would pick Gangplank, you would get the pirate buff, which read, "Yar, I'm a mighty pirate," whenever you hovered it. And Misfortune would instead get the pirate hunter buff that said, "Yar, I'm a mighty pirate hunter." Unfortunately, this didn't have any interactions between the two or even in-game changes, they were just icons you could hover. But back to combat-related Easter eggs, there used to actually be a Plants vs. Zombie Easter egg in the game. When Karthus or Sion would kill Zyra, they'd get 2 bonus gold, and she'd get 2 bonus gold whenever she killed either of those 2, which is definitely one of the more impactful Easter eggs that were in the game at the time. And I'm not sure why it was removed because Vi, Caitlyn, and Jinx have a very similar passive that grants 1 gold on takedown. Maybe they could have nerfed it down to 1 gold to match the Vi, Jinx, and Caitlyn one, but I kind of understand why they removed it because it is just a Plants vs. Zombies Easter egg that is extremely obscure. Zyra also had another Easter egg that was removed, and I can't seem to find online anywhere as to why it even existed, but Maokai would get 1 bonus movement speed whenever he was extremely close to Zyra. I can't find anywhere why it existed. I can only guess because they're both plants. Also, nowhere does it say if it was actually for allies or enemies, so I guess it was just in general. Personally, I think they could have added to the Easter egg by letting Ivern in on the mix, and imagine if they all just gave each other like 3 bonus movement speed total if they're just near each other, and it's just, 3 movement speed because they're all trees or plants or whatever. Next, we have an Easter egg that was not only impactful on gameplay, but it was probably removed because it was so inappropriate. So Nidalee is a cougar, and in more sense than just one for this Easter egg. Riot decided to play into her being a cougar by letting her give 5 experience every 5 seconds to nearby allies, but they had to be a lower level than her. Because she's a cougar, obviously higher level means older, I guess. And I remember when I first started playing, my friends told me this hidden passive only worked on male champions, but according to what I found online, it actually worked for every single gender in the game, so I guess she's just a non-discriminating cougar. In my opinion, I think this next one is the most impactful Easter egg that existed in the game, and I can probably understand why it was removed. So Zilean was named after a rioter named Zilius, and he was extremely opposed to having anything like an armored bear in the game because he thought it was extremely stupid. So of course, Riot adds an armored bear to spite him, which sounds like something old Riot would do, but honestly they still add joke champions all the time because just look at Yuumi. With this Easter egg, Zilean would get the Armored Bear Hater buff, which read, "In my day, we would never have allowed an armored bear into the League of Legends." This would grant him a 1% bonus damage to Volibear and 10 extra gold on killer assist. So of course, Volibear has the opposite buff called Chrono Keeper Hater, which read, "Not even Zilean could keep an armored bear out of the League of Legends." And just like Zilean's, it would give him 1% bonus damage, but this would give him 11 bonus gold on killer assist. I have no clue why Volley gets 1 extra gold over Zilean's passive, but if I had to guess, it was probably just to rub salt in the wound. For the very obvious removed Easter eggs, it would be anything to do with old game modes, especially Twisted Treeline. Twisted Treeline was the 3v3 map which featured Vilemaw, and you could actually dance with him in the pit. But because the 3v3 mode was removed, anything, all the Easter eggs, all the interactions, anything including that map is just gone. I can't seem to find an actual list of who was included on who got voice lines, but I know Hecarim and Mordekaiser for sure got voice lines when standing on the altars in the Twisted Treeline. I think maybe Yorick did as well, but I'm honestly not sure. So if you never got to dance with Vilemaw or play champions tied to the Twisted Treeline's lore, you completely miss out on all those special voice lines and interactions. I know they are out there for you to be able to find and listen to, but it's kind of buried underneath every single other thing that's been updated in League of Legends. To end off this video, I'm going to list 2 things that I think are removed, but honestly, I can't find anything about them online, so it's kind of like, did they exist? I'm 100% certain, I just can't seem to find any information on it. Number 1 out of the 2 would be Surfer Singed. He had a special interaction with Nami. Nami's passive grants allies bonus movement speed whenever you pass through or are hit by one of her abilities. The Surfer Singed skin gets 1 bonus movement speed on top of the regular bonus movement speed whenever he interacts with an allied Nami. Because it's Surfer Singed, it makes more sense that he has to ride her wave for 1 more movement speed, but it could honestly just have been all of her abilities. But if this does still exist in game, then go abuse this very, very broken 1 movement speed. So the very last one is Vel'Koz's Pi attack damage per level. He's supposed to get 3.141592 attack damage per level, and it's even listed as a trivia fact on his wiki, so I assumed that would still be the case. But when I went into a practice lobby and leveled up, it didn't exactly seem like that's the case anymore. I could be completely wrong because I have no clue how attack damage rounding works in League of Legends, but if it's making jumps from plus 2 AD in back-to-back levels to plus 4 AD in back-to-back levels, that doesn't seem like he's exactly getting plus 3 AD per level. What stumps me the most is the plus 2 attack damage in back-to-back levels, because how does that math work if he's getting plus 3 per level? If someone can explain that, it would be great. I just saw it and I thought it would be worth bringing up at the end underneath the bonus section, because there's a chance that they removed this Easter egg if he no longer is getting pi AD per level. If you've made it this far through the video, thank you so much for watching. If I missed anything or gotten anything wrong, please let me know down below. This has easily been my most ambitious video yet, so if you want to show support, please leave a like, comment, or maybe even subscribe if you feel so inclined. I spent a lot of time researching, and a number of these don't seem to be listed on any kind of wiki, so any type of support means a lot to me. And as always, take care, and I hope to see you in the next video.